Aloha, everybody, and welcome to the Joy Schtick Show. For this episode in particular, we had to chop it up into two parts because it was especially chunky. So if you want to hear just about the Marvels, jump ahead to our next episode 120 to hear our full review on it. For this one, there's a little bit of an abrupt ending, but we really appreciate you tuning in, and thank you so much for always checking us out and supporting us. All right, aloha and enjoy.
The Joy Schtick Show.
How's it, sticklers? You know it's the Joy Schtick Show, where the three brothers from Hawaii have gathered to talk about things we've read, watched, or played. Shakas Mahals for sticking around. If you fancy what you hear, please like and subscribe on the platform you frequent. I'm your co-host Drake. That's Thomas.
What up, what up?
And that's Scott.
Hold it.
And welcome to episode 119, where it is way less than 20, and apparently not enough. But today's topics are plentiful. We have a couple of trailers, Madame Web and What If Season 2. We've got some news involving Destin, Daniel, Cretton, and Pedro Pascal. And we will review the things that we've watched before, Gen V and Loki, as well as Blue-Eyed Samurai and The Marvels we all got to watch over the course of the time that we weren't here. So, let us get with the first trailer on the list, which
Whoa. Somebody in this group had a birthday. Happy birthday, Scott.
Scott!
Oh, thank you. I'm the same age as everyone here now.
Yes, you've joined the ranks.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
Yes. We're pretty much...
Now I'm old AF along with you guys.
We're halfway to senilism. Senilism.
Here comes a midlife crisis.
Hey-o.
Let's get new gear, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get new gear.
Let's all frost our tips. It's the only way.
Frost our tips. Put it all on Bitcoin, you know?
Dude.
All on Doge.
Travel to a different country.
Yeah, I think that's just good advice for any age.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's
like,
true.
yeah,
Get culture.
Well,
yeah. Learn things. Read a book. Maybe eat a salad. You're like, oh god, I'm not going to start
imagine?
now.
Could you
Eat
imagine?
a salad. Croutons. You want me to eat tiny hard bread?
Dressing on the side, please.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
100%. So happy birthday, Scott. Hope you had a great one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Melakalikimaka.
Yes. So, also, I just want to say quick shout out to congrats to my sister Emily graduating nursing school, and congrats to my sister
congrats.
Nikki for getting engaged.
Awesome. Congrats.
It's
That's
a big
awesome.
Craig sister situation going on over here, bruh.
Yeah,
Damn, everyone's leveling up.
doing big things.
Level up, dude. Making
Leveling
commitments,
up.
doing stuff.
So let's get into some trailers because this was all the news today. You guys, I already feel like had some hot takes on it before we even really hit record. So let's talk about Sony's new movie, Madame Web.
Well, Scott, do you want to take on the first 25 shades and then I'll take on the next 25 shades?
Yeah, dude.
See what you did there.
Oh, man. This movie looks so good, dude. Like,
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
said
look good.
sarcasm. You don't think it looks good?
no.
Okay, I don't.
It'll probably, here's the thing.
Yeah,
In terms of like action and things like that, like, it'll probably be decent. But watching the movie, my gut is telling me it's not going to be good.
yeah.
And, it's like the first thing I do when I get that gut feeling of like, this movie looks kind of, I don't know, like I don't really like it. And I jump to the comments and just see if people have similar types of feelings.
Yeah.
I found they had some funny comments. Like there's just people like ragging on this movie and comparing it to like the first movie.
Okay.
Just saying stuff like,
What
I
first
like the
movie?
part where she said, I missed the part where that's my problem. Such a great line. Like they're just like
That's
taking
awesome.
things from other movies and stuff.
Right.
It also looks like a fan-made film. So there's that going for it.
Got some cuts.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my take.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. It looks like a Sony Spider-Man movie to me.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
for it,
yeah. No. We Thomas and I talked about this a little bit before we hit record, and I'm kind of the in between. I'm not super positive about it, but I'm also not. I'm giving it a chance. You know what I mean? Like you see that raccoon, and you're like, maybe I'll pet it, but it could have rabies, kind of a situation.
Yeah, or maybe it's Rocket.
The cast is unless it's Rocket.
Very rarely
there's
it's
also a
Rocket.
lot of trauma. Yeah,
But
it seems
what
like
if?
that could be dangerous.
So one out of
Season
all
2.
raccoons that it's Rocket.
That's not a lot of raccoons.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen a live raccoon in my area, which is strange considering raccoons are everywhere.
Because you're in the
But
country.
that's neither here nor there.
Country of Colorado.
Country
I'm
of
a country
Colorado.
You ride a Bronco to work
Interesting
every day.
cast. Isabella Merced is in there. Dakota
Mhm.
Johnson is in there. Sydney Sweeney is in there.
Mm-hmm.
You could make the argument that there are 3 individuals who are not necessarily, well, Dakota Johnson's a little bit more established, but at points in time they've all kind of had roles that are unlike this role currently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as PC I can make that. And it's interesting how.
Just say what you're trying to say. What are you trying to say?
What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that there's 3 of these individuals that essentially were, at points in time in their career,
Mm-hmm.
sexualized.
Okay.
And it's very interesting that they were put in this role where now they've become superheroes. They're actors. It's all fictional.
Yeah.
I'm just making observations. Don't get mad.
I mean, yeah.
I think their chemistry works pretty well. I think they're going to bring the factor of I'm going to watch it because these people are in it. But in terms of like what Scott said, the action might be good. The story seems a little. I'll have to watch it and see if the story kind of falls through for me. But I'm on the fence. I'm not in the comments, but I'm.
You're just one of
backed
them.
away slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey-o.
No, I think I'm probably the most positive in the group. I think it looked way better than I could have imagined a Madam Web movie being, which I could not care less about when it was announced. I was like, who's asking for a Madam Web? It like totally felt like it was just a Sony requirement to keep the rights to Spider-Man. And at the same time, I like the concept of having a dark Spider-Man that's just trudging through a city trying to murder people. I think we've never seen that in live action before, and we get it. This guy, Ezekiel Sims, seems like an interesting character. And then, like all those actresses, to your point, Drake, in a way, they're all pretty good actresses. They all have these really blossoming careers. Dakota Johnson obviously has a massive career already. She's been in the 50 Shades of Grey movies, which were a massive success. And then these girls are coming in and they're like, kind of rising stars. So, and their banter and their interaction looks fun. I don't know. I'm kind of stoked about it. Plus, I've heard on the behind the scenes that this movie's testing really well for test audiences. So I'm not. I think it could be okay. I think it could be better than Venom 2? 100%. Could it be better than Morbius? 100%. Could it even possibly be better than Venom? Maybe. So I'm not. I don't know. I'm kind of on board with it. Looks decent.
Looks decent.
Scott's too stuck in the comments. What you think, Scott? You got that.
But my
the
first
comments
thought was
say
what this
different.
feels like? It feels like early 2000 movies.
Ooh.
Like
Which is
superheroes,
what Morbius
which was
and
good for the
Venom are.
time. And that's exactly it. I was like, you know what other movie reminded me of that? Morbius. You know which movie sucked? Morbius. So I'm like, Morbius had great actors in it.
That's true.
True.
And it wasn't good. So but it's not like I want this movie to do bad. I'd love every movie to be awesome. I'm just
Right.
my first take, it feels like it's not going to be that good.
Perfect. It's also not rated R, so just
Yeah.
But none of them were even Venom wasn't, right? So I think they're trying to get the biggest audience they can, which is smart. I mean, but
considering the cast, you'd like it to be rated R.
also
I get what
there was
you're
one
saying.
line
I
in
get
the
what you're
trailer
saying.
that pissed me off. One of the characters that looks like, what's her name? Maddie Franklin, Celeste O'Connor.
Mhm.
She was like, "You're the paramedic that almost ran me over." And it's then they cut to the scene and she's riding in the middle of a fucking road and the ambulance is coming. And I'm like, "You're the dumbass. What are you? Fuck you."
Yeah.
It already got me angry.
Yes.
This person's an idiot. She's part of the team. Fuck this person.
She's also supposed to be a kid, so there's
Okay.
that.
She's old enough to know. You don't run into an ambulance and then try and win that battle. Like,
Sure.
what are we talking about?
Definitely. I didn't catch that at all. Like I guess I didn't pay attention to that scene, but I hear what you're saying. I do appreciate that they're trying to merge these three different Spider-Woman / Spider-Girl into one story. I think that's kind of a unique take that we've never seen in a Spider-Man movie. And again, like the Spider villain in this, whatever the guy's name is, Ezekiel Sims, he like punches this cop in the stomach and like Omni-Mans him and just murders him.
Yeah, he's like bleeding out. Stuff.
Yeah, from his I was
some
like,
of that stuff looked pretty cool.
That's pretty wild.
The suits look cool too.
The suits look cool.
There's things that are interesting. Interesting things.
Yeah. So I agree. I'm not like fully out on it. It looks like a Sony Spider-Man movie. It is so hard to get excited for these because they always end up so bad. But maybe this is the anomaly.
Would you say, what if?
Oh, nice. Well done. Yeah. What if season 2 trailer just dropped and they're doing something unique with it? We'll get into the whole trailer, but I like that the release schedule is unique. They're doing a new episode every day for 9 days, starting December 22nd. Yeah. So that's something.
That's pretty cool.
It's like
cool.
one of those calendars, advent calendars.
Yeah, it is.
But shorter and with shows.
It's so true. They literally were like, what if we had our own show and then it was just an advent calendar and
it brings you right into the new year.
There you go. Yeah. And the whole new year is a what if. But let's talk about the trailer. What did you guys think about the trailer?
There's a lot going on in that trailer, huh?
There is.
I think the animation style, obviously, still love it. Some of the scenes and like character blending was interesting as well too. I think they brought back a lot of characters that I think we want to see, especially in a what ifs type scenario. I think also too with like the multiverse, we're gonna see a lot more. Hopefully, we'll see a lot more of the blending moving forward in the live action movies. That's all I got right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks super awesome. If we like were to compare this to like the Marvel movies and like how, you know, like we're like, oh, how does this relate to all the things or whatever, and that can kind of be irritating, it not all connecting. This format for me, like, never even needs to connect to the rest of the Marvel universe. Like, I love just like, what if this happened? I'm like, fuck yeah, like that's cool. Like, what if, like, you know, and I mean that's why it's called that. But I'm just excited to see all the different storylines, different like, well, what if this character met this character? What if this person had this power instead of that? Or it's just really cool. I like the concept. It's something we did growing up all the time. What if these characters met or cross universes or DC met Marvel? You know, it's always fun to do, and it's cool to see it fleshed out by people just like us when we were young and grew up and, you know, built their talent to make it possible for us all to see. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think it's that. I think that was what my one more on the side of letdown for season 1 was like, why did they even need to connect, like, and form a team? Like, I don't even want that. It doesn't even make sense. It didn't really make sense to me. And I think because of that, you know, and then plus there was really amazing episodes to me and there was like really shit episodes. So I didn't really like that they tried to force in that they're all part of this connected story. I didn't need that. The other thing I forgot to mention on the last trailer too, we got Adam Scott as young Uncle Ben. And yeah, so I just wanted to throw out there. Oh,
that's right. I like Adam Scott, though.
Yeah, but we've never seen a young Uncle Ben, and like, how does he become Uncle Ben before, you know, and distill all this wisdom onto Spider-Man? So there's that, too.
Right, and then Emma Roberts plays Mary Parker. Is that the...
Oh, where?
The mama?
Oh, Emma Roberts.
Emma Roberts?
And then she plays Spider-Man's mom, too. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So we're getting some of that.
Be in this as well.
Yeah.
That would be. I mean, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and it seems like they're doing 2 different timelines, like, you know, them before they became heroes, and then them after they became heroes. And it seems like the villain might inadvertently create the heroes that he's trying to stop. The only other thing that popped up in my head was we've just saw timelines done so well in Loki. I wonder if Loki had changed this story at all for this movie.
That's true. And you know what? Now that I hear our takes on like what if, I should look at Madam Web as a live action what if, not take it so
positive.
serious. Yeah,
What a positive outlook, Scott.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I gotta do. And I'll probably enjoy the shit out of it.
Probably.
So,
You're like, what if we cared about Madam Web? And then this is the movie we got. Yeah. So, anyways, jumping back, what if seems like a lot of different things. I like one thing that I saw in the trailer that I really dug was that we're getting a lot of characters back that were one-offs in stories. So we got Hela popping up in the trailer. We got Hank Pym's Ant-Man coming back as like an actual hero. We have not T'Challa's dad, or not T'Challa, but his dad, T'Chaka. So it's like a pre-Avengers story. I like that concept. And also the kid in the beginning, it looks like Peter Quill. So it's like, what if Peter Quill was like a bad guy that his dad like implanted? It kind of looks like, or it was evil or something. I don't know. But yeah, that whole idea, like I'm way more excited about this than I thought I was because I really didn't like season 1. So this looks good.
Okay. Moving on to the news in our section, where we've heard that Destin Daniel Cretton, who was slated to direct the
Kang Dynasty.
Kang Dynasty is not going to do that anymore. And potentially just might direct a Shang-Chi 2.
Yeah, and the other movie he's working on is with Yahya Abdul Mateen or however you say that, and the Wonder Man movie or show, I guess. So I guess he's stepping away from Kang Dynasty to direct those.
Interesting. All right, is that do we feel, or what is it? What is the scoops on that? Is it because Jonathan Majors, or what's the deal?
That's a good
Jonathan
question.
Majors, for sure.
You think so, Scott? I think it could.
Yeah, because they're gonna have to change the whole movie, right? They're like remaking the whole movie, and I could see the director being like, "Well, maybe if I'm approached again with like what we think it's gonna be, I'll say I'll do it again." But it'd be kind of, I guess it wouldn't be advantageous to just agree to do a movie that he knows nothing about.
Right. Especially if they are, to your point, going to change all of it, which I can't see a world where they're probably not. But I mean, because all these reports were coming out this last week of Jonathan Major or Marvel stepping away from Kang entirely and going to Doctor Doom, or are they going to recast? Are they not? They had already talked about it last November about changing Jonathan Majors out. So I think. Yeah, I guess they talked about it right after Ant-Man premiered because it didn't do very well. And so they're like, maybe Kang isn't the way to go. So I could see them possibly changing it for that reason. I don't know. But regardless, like I want to see Shang-Chi too. Like, wait, give us that first anyway. Like,
yes,
we're going to get him one time and then he's going to be in Kang Dynasty in an Avengers movie. Like that's not cool. Like show us him somewhere else.
For sure, yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think you saw it too. There was like this little clip of I think his name is Brandon in Phase Zero, and he was talking about how we're kind of let down with all the end credits of all like every movie we've seen so far with Marvel.
Yeah,
not so far, but
they just haven't connected to. They're
not connecting.
Else.
And then he's like, "What about all these characters we introduced?" Like he mentioned Shang-Chi, and he's like, "What happened to him? Like we got a cool movie, and then like they should be following up with another movie that should have been like." On the books and like being worked on right away. Like, it's crazy that like now it's like, oh yeah, and then we dropped Kang, but Shang-Chi too. It's like we should have already been getting something.
Yeah, he should have at least popped up somewhere. Like if it was the Marvels, or it looks like the closest thing we're getting is in the What If trailer. We see somebody with the 10 rings who looks like his dad, and then it also looks like we get his mom in there too and his aunt, and we're back in whatever the realm is. So. Yeah, that's so crazy. I like that movie a lot. It wasn't one of my favorite Marvel movie ever, but I really dug it, and I liked everything about that movie other than the last fight at the end with the dragon. Like I didn't really need that. It just felt like it was so tacked on for not much reason. But I mean, other than to show how powerful he has become. But other than that, the beginning part of the movie where he's trying to figure out who he is, and he moves to San Francisco, and he his dad's army is trying to pull him back in. All of that shit was sick. So more of that sounds great to me.
Yeah.
So no more dragons, more Shang-Chi. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole idea with the Marvel Marvel movies in the beginning was plausibility. That like got so outside of plausibility at the end. Like it was crazy enough for them to drive through this forest that collapses on itself and then they go to a different dimension. You know, like what? Like okay,
Mazes lead to different dimensions. That's
It felt super magical.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was enough.
Which-
like you don't even need to show me the
Yeah.
dragon. And
it's like eating Lucky Charms in Ireland.
God, that has to be
It's
magically
just like that,
delicious.
man.
Yeah. Oh man, that has to be so
It
great.
hit different for sure.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of fantastic, how do you feel about Pedro Pascal being stamped as Reed Richards?
Oh my God, dude, this is so exciting because this is not who the internet had said at all. This is not who I imagine as Mr. Fantastic. And yet at the same time, it just makes sense and it's perfect. I love it. I love this choice.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, it's like I didn't think when we were all like contemplating, like, because it's hard when you throw in was it John Krasinski?
Yeah.
Like after seeing that, you're like, oh, who could be it? Well, you kind of get stuck in this weird like box of like, actors,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, when you're like, hey, Pedro Pascal's gonna do it, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude! Like
Makes
that's
sense.
awesome.
Yeah.
He's already got like kind of the grain going, like you know what I mean, like,
Wow.
and he's a great actor, like. Yeah, he's good. Yeah,
He's good. I
He'll
mean,
do a great job.
he can do drama. He can do action. He can do comedy. Like
Yep.
that's perfect. Yeah. What do you think, Drake?
Well, I was like, when I heard it, I was like, that makes sense. And then I thought about it, and I was like, he wouldn't be somebody that I would have immediately gone to. And I think his popularity in the recency bias makes sense, especially because Fantastic Four, I feel like, needs to do well, especially from our expectation as fans. And so bringing him on as that extra layer of, well, I'm going to go see it. Pedro Pascal is doing it, right? Kind of like me and Michael Pena, or wanting to see Shaq in more things.
Yeah.
So
or for like Marvel. Nice. Or like
Shaq
the
and more
normal.
things. I think we just nailed it.
There you go.
Heyo.
Shaq is thing.
The MCU, like a lot of people came to the MCU because of like Robert Downey Jr. And he played that role so damn well. He's so charismatic. He could do anything. Like Pedro Pascal has that level of talent.
Agreed.
Why can't he be Mr. Fantastic? The only question I have about him is like,
Is he flexible?
yes.
Does he do yoga?
He better be on that yoga game because he's going to have to be the most flexible. No, I'm just curious. Can he be the smartest guy in the room? Like when he stands next to Shuri, or when he stands back next to, let's say they bring back Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, does he seem like he's the smartest guy in there? Because he's supposed to
He
be.
could do it.
You think?
Yeah.
I think so. I think so. Like you said, he can do. I feel like any genre he can do really well. I think he can dive into that character, throw some glasses on him, immediately look smarter. They made Mark Ruffalo believable as Bruce
That's
Banner,
true.
where in every other
Yeah.
movie he's just kind of like a lovable, like normal dude.
Yeah.
Well,
I
they
believe
made
he's
RDJ the same, right? Because
Yeah,
RDJ is
RDJ,
kind of like
he's
this
The
cocky
RDJ.
guy, but he's smart as fudge.
Yeah. RDJ is Iron Man, though. Like,
True.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
very true. And he is the thing that he is outside of Iron Man is very confident. You throw him in like, I mean, I've seen him be a lawyer. I've seen him like do like a lead business guy. You're like, yeah, I buy you as like a smart dude, but then like he really does sell it as like I'm a fucking genius. Like
Yeah,
you know, like and I
simple as that.
believe it.
Right.
Outside of that, I don't think he's a genius, but I mean, he's an acting genius. That
dude, the guy made $500
But-
million playing Iron Man. I feel like he's a genius.
He's probably a genius. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like in that sense where he can build a suit and stuff, like
Right.
it's
right.
not when thinking of the person to play that role, it's not he wasn't originally that person, I would think. But then once we saw that, I was like, dude, I'm so glad stars aligned and he was that
Yeah.
person for that role. Like, you know, it makes sense. And I also think back sometimes I have to remind myself, like, when Heath Ledger was casted as the Joker, like I had like that was one of those I had that gut feeling. I was like, I don't know about this. Like I've only ever
True.
seen him in Knight's Tale and stuff,
Mm.
but he really
Things
blew
I
my
Hate About
mind.
You,
So I
wrote
try and
back.
remind myself that, like,
Yeah.
you know, some of these actors get pigeonholed, and they're capable of doing other things if
That's true.
if they're allowed to. So.
He's got the
That
talent
being
for it.
said, I know we were kind of chatting a little bit about who could play the Thing, and I have a new challenger.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
go.
Because this is let's set the requirements first, right? The requirements was you have to have somebody who looks like he's the same age or around the same age as Pedro Pascal because they have to be best friends. They don't have to be the exact same age, but around there, right?
Besties.
The second requirement was that they maybe should look physically intimidating because he's going to turn into like this big hulking thing, but he doesn't need to be like massive, but just like a little imposing maybe as the character does in the comics. And then the third thing was they probably have to be Jewish because the character's Jewish.
Yeah. So we threw out some people like Ansel Elgort or Shia LaBeouf.
Shia, I'm on board with Shia.
Who else did we throw out? Shaquille
Michael
O'Neal.
Chiklis.
Always going to come back to Shaquille.
No,
So okay.
he played the other.
So here's the new challenger. Oh, because you had said Seth Rogen previously. I was like T.J. Miller.
Mm-hmm.
What about Ben Stiller?
Oh, interesting.
Fits all the criteria, and he was buff in multiple movies, including Heavyweights and Dodgeball.
I guess Ben Stiller can do drama, right? Like
does
Secret
characters,
Life
too.
of Walter Mitty.
Walter
And he's got a very
yeah.
unique voice. And he
Yep.
can do humor, which I think the
Yes.
thing's going to
Clearly,
need.
yeah.
Yeah, I
He
think.
probably
Oh my
could,
God,
actually.
could Ben Stiller do it? That'd be crazy.
Ben
I think he
Stiller,
could.
and he hasn't done anything in a long time. He's been mostly directing, so that could be an interesting.
Bro, that
Pit
would
stop.
be wild. Ben Stiller and Pedro Pascal in the Fantastic Four. That would be.
I mean, would you not want to watch that?
I would want to
Like,
watch that.
Let's go,
I
dude.
ain't gonna lie. And Vanessa Kirby as Invisible Woman. Now you just need like a kind of good-looking, young, super overconfident kid.
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet could do it, but I don't think he will.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, and
Because he's in Dune. He's on a different planet.
yeah, and also he always quotes like the Martin Scorsese, like I'm not going to do a comic book movie thing.
Yeah, we get Chris Evans back. Only guy to do it.
There you
And
go.
decap and then do it again.
Or cannot, because Chris Evans was in Gray Man, right? So could we pick another character from Gray Man and put him in there, like a Ryan Gosling?
I wish he's got to be younger though, not like
young
super
hottie?
young, but like younger. Yeah, I think
Younger
Chalamet is on
hottie?
the right track though. Like Chalamet would probably crush.
What about
it.
the guy
He's
who
that
played
comedian
Elvis?
right now that's
Jake Elordi,
blowing up.
the guy who played Elvis?
that?
Wait, sorry, what'd you say, Scott?
Oh, sorry.
What'd
Who's
you
that
say, Scott?
hot comedian right now that's blown up?
Santino.
What is-
Trevor Wallace.
No, not Trevor Wallace. Like physically good looking that women are like.
Oh, Matt Rife.
Matt Rife.
Oh.
I don't know if he could do it, but I'm just saying like he would have the look.
Potential. He's got a slight southern drawl.
Oh, that could be nice. Yeah, I don't know who they're gonna do for Human Torch, but I think they're on the right track. I'd love to see a Ben Stiller thing. That
K-pop star.
Good.
Yeah, K-pop star is a thing, or K-pop star is a thing. Ben Stiller as a thing would be pretty interesting. I just like to see Ben Stiller.
Where did K-pop star they come in?
I have no clue because hot guy.
Oh, Steven Yeun.
Oh, you like hot
Steven
Korean
Yeun.
guys?
Yeah, hot
Steven
Korean
Yeun
guys.
could be. Yeah. But they got to be brother sister though.
Steven Yeun's already been cast in Thunderbolts.
Oh, well, he's got to do both now. Too bad.
Yeah, he's just an adopted.
Yeah, Scott said it so. The god of
Maybe that'll be
stories.
Jordan again.
Give him a script.
Hey
Tell
yo,
him suck it up.
suck it up.
All right, let's get into the reviews for the night. The first one, I think I heard from you, Scott, and you said it because your wife Christine was watching it. I am now on episode 7, and it is phenomenal. It's on Netflix. It's called Blue Eye Samurai. Have you guys been able to
Ooh.
watch some of it?
Fuck yeah, dude! I watched it all in one day.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh yeah, man.
I was like, I got up and I was like, before I start my day, let's check out an episode. Christine said, like, just check out one and see if you like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just watched all of them.
Called it sick for work.
Yeah.
no, I was off.
And then I did
I
it.
fucking would have. No, dude, it's so good. Like the only thing I've heard that I guess has been like a wall for some people is the CG. Some people don't like that sort of art. A couple of
really?
my friends have said like, I just don't care for that. And I think, you're either gonna like it or you don't, and that's gonna really deter you from enjoying it. I personally
What?
love it.
Dude, I
Yeah,
just put on Across the Spider-Verse, and then I put that on right after. It's not like the animation's that different.
I know, and I think I honestly want to say, like, with the competition of a bunch of shows and like, maybe just that, it's like it's harder to give shows a chance nowadays, and like some people just kind of take a look at maybe the poster and be like, nah, and I'm like, dude, just watch the trailer.
That's why you come to shows like this. This is the point.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, if you are hesitant on the art, just watch it. Like the story's fucking good.
It is. The episode 5
about revenge. Oh man, it's like I love a good
synopsis. Quick synopsis for the folks at home.
So in the 1600s in Japan, there was no foreigners allowed in the country, and there was only 4 white people that they could account for. One of these 4 white people knocked up a Japanese lady and gave birth to this character. I'm just gonna say that this, or should we say the sex?
It's given away. I want to say, like, because some people are kind of hesitant, and I think it's a plus to know this. You find out in the first episode.
Yeah.
The character, and especially when you hear the character talk, it's the character when you first see them. It's made to believe that they are a male character.
Yes.
But you can hear it in the voice because the voice actor is a female.
Yeah, Maya Eskridge from Pen 15.
Yes,
Ooh.
and they're lowering their voice, but like she is a fucking badass.
Yes.
And her goal is to go after these 4 white men that came and entered Japan and just murder them. She doesn't know who her father is. She wants them all dead, though.
Yeah. Just think about
Sick.
Kill Bill set in feudal Japan time mixed with, I think, badass animation, badass action, and just like an even more compelling story to me. Like the story is just so incredible. Episode 5 in particular was one of the most incredible single self-contained episodes I've ever seen. Like
Is that
it's in the top 10 ever. Oh yeah. Yeah, where she's partially like protecting everybody in the house in like the brothel / like fighting all the people who are trying to hunt her and her friends down. Like holy shit was that.
That episode was
because she's getting her ass kicked like Kill Bill. Like she's getting demolished. It's like John Wick, but for her. It's like she's a badass, but she's not just invincible. Like she takes licks. And God, is it good. And every time you think you know her upper limits, like something else gets exposed and you're like, oh my God, didn't even know that was going to be a thing. Right?
Yeah. And like, there's like things in like the way she fights, and like it's almost like when you're playing a video game or something, you're like the character somehow like levels up.
Right.
Like there's parts in it where she like naturally levels up and it makes sense, but you're like, fuck, that's cool. Like,
right, yeah. Me and Emily were watching that one scene because at the end of that episode, like she transforms her sword basically in a very practical way, not in like a magical way or any like anime type way, in a way like you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And then you also see how she is able to use that weapon. And it's incredible. Like imagine, what was the guy who did Capoeira and Tekken, where he's like spinning around and
Eddie.
Dude, she's doing some Eddie shit with this blade thing, and it is sick. Like so sick. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, the choreography in this is like crazy.
Yeah, it's like John Wick level fighting.
Yeah, it's so good. And like the I say camera angles, but it's all like CG work. But the way they decide to shoot certain things and stuff, like it's so freaking good, and it's like so good at drawing you in, making you feel for all the characters, and like you feel for all the perspectives, and like it's kind of a fucked up world too, and like you feel that
totally. She just gets robbed at every turn, like every time you think she deserves something better or something more, like it's finally gonna work out, it doesn't, and you're like, fuck, can this girl just catch a break?
Dang.
Yeah,
it's not for kids.
It's not for kids.
So have them watch it so they can learn.
There's banging, there's boobies in it.
Boobies.
Oh dang.
Yeah, so there's a lot of blood. There's a lot of
leave right now so I can watch it.
But like the voice acting is incredible. There's some points where it's really funny. What's her friend Ringo?
He fucking left.
He really did leave for a second. That's funny.
Yeah, for a second.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun to edit.
Yeah. Oh shit! So worthy, right, bro?
It's so good. Well worth the watch.
Peaches.
Would you, if you could only have one, would you rather have a sequel or a video game?
Sequel. I already thought about it as a video game. I was like, no, it wouldn't do it justice.
Word. Not even if it was like Spider-Man 2 quality?
No, you know why? Because they already have a video game that captures old Japan, and it's the one we played.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, this guy didn't remember.
Dude,
Yeah.
dude, every other name was popping in my head and not Ghost of Tsushima. And I'm
Yeah, you were like,
what the fuck?
Ninja Gaiden.
You ever start a sentence, you're
Tenchu.
like, the ending will come to me, and then it doesn't? That's what happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Exactly.
Did you guys
Thanks
also
for
hear
calling
that
me out, though.
You're
Starfield
welcome.
didn't get nominated for Game of the Year?
Which one?
I read
That's
an
a pretty
article
random
that
thought.
Yeah, I know. Because I was thinking Spider-Man 2 Game of the Year. A lot of implication.
I'm not surprised.
Starfield
I've
wasn't
heard
as
very
far as,
mixed things on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. No
Back to the show.
mixed reviews on this though. I mean, really, everybody who watches it thinks this is phenomenal, and this is a show where I'm like, if you could make one recommendation, you're like, just check this out. It's this for me this week, or at least this month.
Yeah. And it definitely was one of those like surprise. Like obviously, Christine watched it. She was like, hey, "You should check this out. It just came out." It's not like we knew. It's not like I saw a trailer drop. Oh, in 2 months it's coming out.
Mhm.
Like it just kind of snuck up on me. I'm like, this fucking gem of a show just dropped in my lap. It makes me want to kind of just try out more shows now. You know, like
Yeah,
I feel like there's so many shows we gotta watch, and there's like little room to try new things. I'm like, this show was such a surprise, such a pleasant surprise, and like at the end of the year too, I'm like, oh man, it's like squeezing its way in my list of top shows
Hell yeah.
of the year. Like
it's
crazy.
It's definitely on my honorable mentions. Like it's
Brenda Song
probably
is
not in
in
the top 3, but it's for
yeah,
sure.
Brenda Song's in it too.
Yeah, made
Oh,
the.
these voices are crazy.
Who
Yeah,
would you say it was in it?
Brenda Song
Brenda Song.
Freaking,
plays the princess.
Shang Tsung is in here.
Yeah, Annie Park I think is in there too.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Your soul is mine.
this is one because I think it's like it's an American show. I'm not sure where it was made. Right, it's an American.
Yeah,
show.
it's American.
But I was
US, yeah.
trying to see if there was Japanese language because I was like, this would sound so cool.
Kevin
But
Hart
it's-
produced this.
I didn't see it.
No way,
But-
really? Kevin Park?
Yeah, Kevin Hart's
Hart
under
production?
producers in the.
That's
Well, it says producers Jane Wu, Haven Alexander, Kevin Hart.
that's crazy.
Dude, it's so good. Check it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
I wish you
freaking-
kind of didn't. It has nothing to do with Kevin Hart. It's way better than anything Kevin Hart's ever done. So like, don't associate
Wow.
that with it. But it's good. It is. It's like actually
Better than
good.
Central Intelligence? Come on.
What the hell is
He's
that?
not any of the voices.
I was in I was in a movie theater watching that, and Orlando Bloom got up and left. He grabbed his kid and was like, "I'm done," and left. In Central.
You're like,
Intelligence.
Wow, you're in the same theater as Orlando Bloom before?
Yeah, but still, he was just like, "Fuck it, I'm not finishing this," and just like got up and left. So
Brutal.
yeah, never get back.
He'd make a scene about it.
No, he
Did
didn't.
say
He was
that?
like
That would've been
really
great. He's
casual.
like, I'm not finishing this.
No, he just like waved to his friends and then was like out.
He just took Gimli and left.
Yeah, his Adriana Lima looking son Gimli. Yeah, so
It's a
good.
hot son.
Check it out, everybody. Blue Eye
His beat is
Samurai.
good.
All right, Drake, do you have any follow up on the Gen V finale and the Loki finale?
I want to say that if I was a listener to the podcast, having listened to pretty much coverage of every single episode, as I watched this episode, just the finale, for the first time, I didn't miss a beat. Everything that you guys talked about, I was like, "Oh, this makes sense. Oh, I know who this person is. Oh, I know who this person is." It was a great, I guess, say crescendo because that's not the wrong word, but it was a great cliffhanger into moving into the next season of The Boys. It did, even just this one episode did make me be like, man, teens be being teens, man, just dramatic and like they don't know what they want, and like people with power but they don't have like the emotional context to deal with it, or having to deal with trauma, like all these things popped up and made sense for the characters. Even though it was extremely frustrating, it made sense for what I was watching. The action was great. The build-up was great. Even these conversations between each character, even though I didn't watch the predominance of the show, made sense because of what we talked about. So great coverage, boys. Fantastic. You can take a nobody nothing and they'll understand what's going on if they just watch one episode of the whole thing. So
thank you,
I
sir.
appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We do work hard.
But that was my take. Looking forward to The Boys, obviously, and Invincible. Those shows are just doing well right now.
Yeah.
That's nice.
All right.
good.
So yeah. Gen V phenomenal too. I think that is in my top 3. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
You got anything
Loki
else?
finale.
Scott?
Oh no, Gen V. Yep, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Loki because that show was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk
The
about
Loki-
that. Let's get into Loki season 2 finale. Scott, do you want to take it away on what you thought
Time
about this
slip into it,
episode?
huh?
Maybe a quick little recap of what you remember.
Yeah, we get more of Loki getting control over his powers, like his time powers. And you realize it's funny because Christine and I just watched Groundhog's Day.
Oh,
it was
shit.
leaving Netflix, and she watched it for the first time. I didn't know. So we're watching, and I'm like, oh, I like when he starts doing this. She's like, I've never seen this movie. I'm like, what? You never seen? And so we watched it, and then we watched this, or I watched this like sometime later. I'm like, just so having watched Groundhog's Day. There's like that feel of like he's doing the same thing over and over again, trying to nail it. He goes back to that moment where Dr. Timely is about to go out on the
loom and then
Platform.
get
the platform and get out there, and he's trudging and he turns into spaghetti. And he gets to the point where he knows what everyone's gonna say, and he's like going over and over and over. How can we speed this up? How can we speed this up? And it keeps ending in the same way. And then eventually he turns to Ouroboros and he's like, well, they're doing like a further flashback, right? And he's like describing like, oh, I made a model, blah blah blah. And then he's cutting everyone off, and they're like, this is kind of weird. And then he asks Ouroboros like, if I needed to learn everything you know about this, like how long will it take? And he's like, oh my, it would take forever. Like it takes centuries. And then like centuries later,
Love
you're
it.
like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like he's really living the same thing. They do it. Everything goes right. And the outcome is still bad. So like he goes like, it's just like the amount of wisdom this man like was able to obtain in this one episode. Like it really, I know it was like one episode, but it really felt like you felt this like longevity of life he had. They did such a fucking good job with this episode. And like just the way he's approaching his own reality now and like what he needs to do and like the responsibility he needs to take on himself now. All the way up to the very end where he's like literally turning time strands into like his cape and costume and like so fucking epic. This like this series came to such a good ending. It felt like a solid graphic novel that you read, kind of like a what if. You're like, oh, and this thing like it doesn't even. I mean, again, this doesn't even need to connect to anything else. If it was just like a one shot, it would still be amazing. Like
so true.
I
man.
so love it.
Yeah, well said and well done. Yeah, it totally finishes off and concludes in this way. You're like, fuck, that's no notes. Like, how do I can't picture a better way to do it, you know? Because he even said in an interview recently, I think I sent it to you guys, but Brandon again from comicbook.com just interviewed Tom Hiddleston, and he's just like, this was it. This was everything I wanted to do with the character. He's like, I'm not going to say I'm not going to come back. Like, you never know. But he's like, this is what 14 years of work felt like finishing.
Wow.
Yeah. And you guys got to go back and listen to it. I know you didn't. But
well, I probably didn't watch the episode yet. I was waiting for Christine, and I kept going like, "Hey, we got that new Loki," and she's like, "Oh, let's watch this." So we watched other things, and then it got to a point where she's like, "You can just watch it." I'm like, "Oh!" Like I had coworkers going like, "Did you see it yet?" I'm like, "I'm waiting for Christine."
Yeah.
You know, so
I know. But it really does. It just wraps up everything so perfectly, and he's going back to these different points in time to stop. Basically, He Who Remains, but He Who Remains just seems like he's got the upper hand. He's like, no matter what, it all leads to you having to kill Sylvie. And we know how this Loki feels about Sylvie. Like, he's madly in love with her, I guess, and they don't even share any real, like, physical moments in it. Weird, you know, they don't kiss, they don't do any of that, but there's still a lot of love there. And it seems like he's going to have to kill her no matter what. And then it even gets to that point where He Who Remains is like, oh, I thought you would have been able to figure out how to stop time by now. And he's like, and then he does it. And then he stops time.
Yeah.
He's like, what makes you think this is the first time we've had this conversation? And I'm like, God, so cool. We're not even cued into how much this Loki has evolved in the amount of time he's been repeating all this too. So there's that element too, where it's like, wow, that's fucking crazy. But yeah, you feel like there's this crazy passage of time. We already learned that his greatest fear from episode 5 is that he doesn't want to end up alone. And that it seems like it's pushing him in this direction, because he then learns that the loom was never never supposed to work. It was always meant to take all these branching timelines and consolidate them into one timeline. And it was always going to explode. It was always going to blow up. Eventually, it was going to fail. How do you replace this guy who seems to have figured out everything? You know, and the only way to do it is for Loki to basically take his place and then to be alone for eternity, kind of making sure that the proper flow of time, or that his friends can grow and live and die and then pass on, and all that stuff is like, it's so heavy, it's so crazy, and it's so well done, and it's like bittersweet at the end too. That's just like, God, man, like Tom Hiddleston, what a treasure. How lucky was the MCU to cast him from the start of Thor, and for him to like stick around and then deliver this story, this performance. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, because even him just walking up, that whole thing, like walking up, sitting down, seeing his face.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even need to say anything, and you're like, oh, fuck, I want to cry for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like you feel everything he's feeling without even saying, like, he's such a good actor.
The catalyst for me that brought everything together was Mobius's line.
Yeah.
Which is, most purpose is more burden than glory, and trust me, you never want to be the guy who avoids it, because you can't live with the burden.
Yeah. So good, man. I know. And
fucking so good.
I did not expect that from Owen Wilson. Like, I know Owen Wilson's a great actor. Like, I know.
Wow.
Yeah, but like, it hit you though. You're like, God, dude.
So good.
He delivered it in such a way where it's like, it felt like he's lived it too. You know, and like, yeah, of course Mobius has, because he tells a story of Ravonna had to step in and prune that kid. But also, like, it came from a place of like, man, Owen Wilson's been through some shit. He's been through.
Look at his nose.
It felt like a real life experience was coming through.
Yeah. Totally. You're right. That line hit so hard. The part where he tries to time slip and ask Sylvie for permission, and she basically tells him, without him even saying it, like, I'm not going to give you permission to kill me. Like, this is, you know, if you have to do this to step up, like, that's on you. And that's another crazy thing too. Like, so many times I kind of referred it to like a bad breakup, or like somebody, you know, the relationship's going bad, or like, you know, you want out of the relationship and you're hoping the other person breaks up with you, but then they don't. And they're like, I'm not going to break up with you. You're going to have to grow some balls and do it yourself. And that's what that moment felt like to me, where I'm like, fuck, that's so hard.
It's the ultimate character growth from when we were first introduced to Loki until now. Like the biggest, longest, most meaningful character growth for me in the MCU, even including all of the characters, like
even including Iron Man. Just because I hear that comparison a lot, like online, people are like, "This is the second or like next best character growth besides Iron Man."
I would say I agree with Iron Man, but Iron Man was mostly ego, whereas Loki's I think was like grander.
He's like, yeah.
I
see what you're saying in a way, yeah. Because Iron Man's was ego too, in a sense. Like, if you watch from Iron Man 1, which I just went back and watched, and then you watch Endgame, he's like all about himself in the first movie. Like, he only cares about what he wants to do. He even saves people in a way that he thinks is right to do it, not in a way anybody's asking for. And he makes a suit for himself. He doesn't like give it to the army or give it to someone else. Like, he makes it purely for him. And at the end, like, knowing that he has a family and everything, he still sacrifices himself. But I think Loki does it just for his friends and for the possibility of what other people can experience if they had free will or the ability to just live out their life. Like,
he went from like incredibly selfish to selfless. Like, everything he did after that he's like, literally, I'm not gaining anything from this. It was just kind of a strange event that he kind of got that throne that he was like, I should have my own throne. At the end, he wasn't even thinking about that, but it's kind of funny it worked out that way.
Right. It's crazy that he does get a throne, but it's no throne you would ever want.
Exactly. And it is interesting. Like, he genuinely feels that way. It's not like he's like, or he's not cracking jokes like, oh, I guess I better do this for everybody. You know, like, he's not saying like pity me or anything. He's like,
that version would be pretty good.
Gotta do it.
Loki's living in his hell, right? He's living in the thing he doesn't want the most, which is to be alone. So he's in his perpetual like hell. Whereas Iron Man he doesn't, quote unquote, doesn't exist anymore, right? So he gets to have the hero's send off, whereas Loki is just there, right?
Yeah,
and
for
also
eternity.
no one even knows.
Potentially.
I mean, yeah. So
Exactly.
So let's talk about some of the characters who may know, right? Like Mobius knows, Sylvie knows, Hunter B-15 knows, OB knows. So it's like, but they're the only ones that really
Casey.
know. Yeah, I think so, because they're all like standing there on the bridge when he tears that hole in whatever time or reality or something, and they see him grabbing the strands. So I think they would know he's there, but like, imagine how crazy that would be. Like your friend is like responsible for saving the universe, but you gotta. But that's how I feel about like Tony. Like they all know that about Tony Stark too.
True.
You know, like so. But I get what you're saying. Like it seems so much more grander coming from Loki, and I don't know why. Like
I think because he's also a god, and then there's also like multiple timelines.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not just like
like
the
infinite
one that.
timeline.
Yeah, it's like all of time for everyone and any variation of you.
Yeah. We see him be selfish at times. We see him be endearing. We see him, lose his life and come back. We've seen him regenerate. And in this situation, he is stuck. And I think that's the impact of it all, because we don't really see characters in the MCU truly stuck.
Yeah, like the assumption is like Tony Stark went to like Marvel heaven or something, right? But like Loki, we know where his purgatory is or his hell is.
That's kind of true, right? Like, yeah, we don't know what the afterlife's like, but it could be different. Whereas, like, what Loki's experiencing, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to compare because they are just on different levels. Like Loki is like a god, so in a way, Iron Man, Tony Stark achieved well over what any normal human could do, saving the universe, right? Whereas like Loki kind of did that in its own way of like he's a god. This is kind of like more than a god could do, but like Tony Stark doing what Loki did, like that's like, wow, that's crazy. That would never happen. But like to their own degree, like it may be equally as big,
right? Yeah.
Have you ever disliked Iron Man? Have you ever disliked?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Tony Stark as a whole. I think that's because of kind of his crassness and his selfishness at times.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like his way or the highway, and I typically in real life don't like that from people.
Yeah,
like I like options and let's work together in collaboration and stuff. And a lot of Tony's arc was like, I'm the boss, get on board. I mean, you can watch. I just watched Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2. With War Machine, and even with War Machine, he's like, dude, like this is how we're gonna do it. Listen, it
must be hard to be his friend, right?
It would be really hard.
Yeah. I mean, you get a lot of free stuff, probably don't have to worry about money.
Not a boat, say that. Can't afford it.
Not a boat. Well, I think because with Loki, you can truly, as a spectator of Marvel, maybe you're not super deep into the comic books, but just viewing the movies, you can actually be like, he's a villain. And at the end of this, he's like the hero of heroes.
Yeah.
I think in that kind of spectrum, the weight maybe in this timeline, the weight of it is a little bit more heavy. But I think you always are rooting for Loki, and to know that he's now made this kind of sacrifice, where typically we don't see him making the sacrifices. Maybe that weight is a little bit more than we're used to.
Yeah, true.
I mean, because even you always kind of did feel bad for Loki, right? At least I did. Like even when he was like, it felt like his god of mischief he was mischievous, just like he chose to do that. It's not like he had to. It seemed like he kind of like he was.
It was like the way he's coping with his life.
He was in
and his
he didn't feel
place.
welcomed by anyone except for his mom,
right?
And then like Thor gives love the way he knows how to give love,
right? And like
so he
Odin
never
didn't seem like the best dad ever. And
so it's like you get it.
Yeah.
He's always fucking up to the craziest degree. And
how did you guys feel about the characters that we got left? So we got Mobius standing there watching his, I guess, past self interact with the kids. We get Sylvie, who kind of like taps him on the shoulder. OB, Hunter B-15, Casey. Like, how did you feel about how we left those characters?
I felt kind of sad for Mobius. Like for a second, I thought he was gonna be able to go back to his family, like in the Men in Black with what's his name, Tommy Jones, like be able to live your life again or something. But it's like he gets to retire, but he can do whatever he wants, I guess. But he's also seeing himself live the life he wants.
I think
it's kind of sad.
From what I understand, though, he could go back and like just live there. Yeah, at that moment, whenever he was taken. But I guess that's what I understand. But I felt sad for him too, and I was like, that's so strange because he can put himself back at any point in time with his kids. He could put it back to like the day they were born. He put himself back there, but it's like. It still felt sad. And I was wondering, like, is he sad just because he knows what happened to his friend? Or is he sad because he knows he's missed so much? I think, I don't know.
I think he just knows he's not that person anymore. And
damn.
To like, you're going back to like what? You know what I mean? Because you've been through so much, you've experienced so much, like you're just not that person anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, that's heavy. Yeah, I agree.
That's probably why Tommy Lee Jones erased his memory.
Yeah, erased his own memory.
Yeah, to go back to his life. Men in Black.
Yeah,
he went back to being.
He's like, I don't want to know any of the shit I just learned in the last 10, 15, 20 years.
You know everything about aliens, and then you just go back to a regular job. Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck does this matter?
Fuck aliens! I want to work at Kroger.
I saved the world. The world could be dying right now. They might need me.
Yeah,
that's gotta be crazy.
That does. It's so good. I was also like, Sylvie's one was a little bit confusing for me too. And this is not a criticism at all. Like, I loved all of this. It all really worked for me still, but I'm like, what is she gonna do? Like, is she just gonna go back and work at McDonald's? Like, is that truly where she's the most happy? And if it is, that's awesome. But I'm just like, I just don't see how she could, running from
she
apocalypse.
Might try other McDonald's. Try it out.
Yeah. She might try Burger King. She might try Wendy's. Carl's Jr.
You never know.
Good Times is actually really good if you ever had a Good Times situation.
Good Times is good. Burger's good. I like that.
I've never had it.
Yeah. I like Whataburger too.
I have Whataburger.
Whataburger's nice.
I guess she could work at a Shake Shack.
Yeah.
Shake Shack. Pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
In-N-Out or...
It's got to be burgers though, right?
Pretty much.
What about chicken burgers?
Ooh.
We're gonna have to
well, like ground chicken into a patty.
Yeah.
She opens her own chain, Sylvie's.
Yeah. Sylvie D's. All of this.
All right.
You got it in there. You got one D's nuts in there. Quota check. Yeah. Loki was fantastic. I don't know. Do you guys think we ever see? Last question. Do you think we ever see Tom Hiddleston pick up the horns again and play Loki somewhere down the line in the MCU?
Oh, please.
Do you think it happens though? Like, I want it. I think we all want it, but does it happen?
I think it does. I think it does late in the game.
Like Secret Wars
or something? It does late in the game where we least expect it, and then it's all of a sudden we need this thing, maybe like a Deus Ex Machina, and we turn to, and it's Loki, horns and all.
Dude, you see, that's the thing. Yeah, like, I want this Loki to show up and then be like, just kind of like pop in and be like, in case you guys didn't know, I'm kind of a big deal now.
Right.
Like, I'm kind of the reason you guys are all alive. So I'm going to go back to do my job selflessly. But
just, I want the credit.
Just let
But like, you don't have to thank me. But you
humble brag.
You could.
Kind of a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wonder if we get a variant or something. I don't know if you like disturb this version of Loki's ending, although this is probably my favorite version of Loki. But yeah, I don't know if you disturb it. I think we see him again in Secret Wars.
Please, jeez.
The Joy Schtick Show.
If you've enjoyed what you've been listening to, we'd really appreciate a follow, subscribe, and a review. Just how we like chatting with our friends, please share this with yours. Feel free to join the squad and follow us at JoyStickShow, Joy Schtick Show on Twitter and Instagram, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you feel like submitting topics or questions to be discussed on future episodes, you can email us at joystick.show@gmail.com. As always, thank you, peace out, and make it a great rest of your week.